Hi guys, welcome back to the Player YouTube channel and welcome back to the fabulous Hanbury Manor in Hertfordshire. Now today we've got something a little bit different than what we normally review on the Player channel, because we like to bring you honest, down to earth, regular run-of-the-mill cars, because that's what we do. But every now and then we just want to spoil ourselves, and today, wow, we're really spoiling ourselves, because this, if you haven't already realised, is the Portofino, which is the latest car from Ferrari. The Portofino is the direct replacement to the California T, and that, in my opinion, was a car geared more mainly for the American market. This is definitely for the European market, you can tell, and the price tag itself matches that as well. You can buy one of these for about £166,000. This particular one that we're reviewing is almost £250,000 with all the extras on it. I'm not sure if I like the colour or not. I might have preferred it in red, but at the end of the day, this is one stunning car. Portofino, the name, well, it's a beautiful place in Italy and in a place called Amalfi. It's the Amalfi coastline, and it has particular fond memories for me because that's where my parents went when they first got married and they honeymooned there. Consequently, you've got me now doing car reviews. Let's take a look at some automotive porn, because that's the only way you can describe this amazing prancing horse engine. This is a 3.9 litre V8 engine developing around 600 brake horsepower. Sadly, the Ferrari engines are no longer naturally aspirated, but you do get these massive turbos at the front here. Twin turbos right there. Oh, it's just a beautiful bit of kit. This is like a masterpiece, and this masterpiece will send you from 0 to 60 sub 4 seconds with a top speed of around 199 miles an hour. This really will take your breath away. Round at the front of the car, well, one little bugbear that I've got is this horrible big sort of camera sensor bit at the front here. They've put it right above the prancing horse, which is such a shame. They should have just put it below it. I'm sure there's a reason for it. However, where it does start to get nice, check out this carbon fibre splitter that runs around the bottom, because this car is so aerodynamic, it's unbelievable. When you look at the bonnet, the way that the whole thing is shaped with these vents on the top here, they haven't just thrown a couple of vents on, like a Mustang where you just see them stuck on the top. No, these have been cut beautifully. This whole car is designed to go through the air at speed. And yet again, these LED sweeping headlights here and the three little running lights on the side here, not only are they beautiful, but they have a function, because they're making that air cut through here where there's another vent there. It's that long, and that air is all being channeled through and under the wing here. It comes out under here through three little vents. It's keeping that front 20-inch rim, which is beautiful, by the way, with that lovely yellow caliper. It's keeping all this cool, but then you've got to get rid of that air. And Ferrari have cleverly designed this on the computer, obviously. They've created this vent system here. There's like three little vents in there. I don't know if my cameraman can get in there and show you. Again, all carbon fibre, which is absolutely stunning. And then this channel here, which runs along, and you can see where it fades out. But not only that, look at the actual side of the car here. The door handle is all shaped to allow that air to come sweeping down here, not only giving you plenty of downforce at the back, but also allowing this car to get from 0 to 60 as fast as possible and up to its top speed of nearly 200 miles an hour. This has to be probably the most aerodynamic Ferrari ever built. Let's check out round the back, but before we do that, I forgot to mention these lovely carbon fibre seals. So as we were saying, all the air is being drawn around here, and when you move around here, you can see why the whole shape of this car again is designed, you can see here with the vent almost coming down straight off the roof, Speaking of roofs, by the way, this is a convertible. We'll have the roof down with the magic of editing in a second. It's a hardtop roof, but 14 seconds, it's a complete convertible. We'll do that in a sec. Let's take a look. So you've got two massive exhausts either side, expelling all those gases from that beautiful V8 that's up the front there. And in the middle here, you've got that big sort of aero piece that keeps this car grounded at 200 miles an hour. The boot itself, it is quite big. I'll show you inside. It isn't electronically assisted. You have to lift it yourself, although it's not heavy. So come on guys, who's going to complain about that? You get this sort of cover here for the roof. So when the roof is up, you can actually lift that up and that gives you a bit more space. But you've got to remember that that is up because it won't allow the roof to come down. So if you have got stuff in here, because obviously it would end up getting crushed underneath it, but you can easily get a decent golf bag in there, a couple of weekend bags and possibly a couple of man bags as well. It's just really good for long distance, I think. It's a perfect GT, to be honest with you. When this is down, obviously that is the only space that you've got. Let's do a bit of edit. 14 seconds, roof comes down. Let's do it a bit quicker than that. Here we are up front in the Portofino, and it is a beautifully put together car. You've got plenty of maneuverability on this steering wheel. It's all electronic. You can push it in, move it out and get it in exactly where you want to put it. I love this. It always reminds me of the race car steering wheel. So you've got your lighting system here. You've got your wash wipe down here. The only thing I don't like, there's no stalks for the indicators. They are actually on the side of the steering wheel here. Likewise, the paddles are actually fixed to the center column. They're just two little bugbears of mine. I prefer it. I like a stalk. I don't know. Up here, there's a little LED system which, when you've got it in the manual mode, you can watch how your rev meter is going. So you don't have to look directly at the rev meter. You can just watch the lights come up and go down. To the right, this all can be adjusted. You've got some buttons over here that you can have your temperature up here, the turbo boost on the left. I've got it set as miles per hour. You can mix and mash all that up. You can have your map over there. Speaking of maps, this is a 10.5 TFT screen here. It's a lovely touch screen. This is in the old days, Ferrari just weren't that good at this type of, the nav system and the screen. It was always like secondary. It didn't really exist. At least now it does look and act half decent. Just below there, you've got your heating control system. Again, this is individual to each of the occupants in the car. However, they obviously don't think that your passenger or you are going to be drinking a cup of coffee or having a cold drink because there's only one cup holder, which is rather strange. In the center console here, I would have liked to have seen underneath here an Apple, well not Apple, but a wireless charging system of some sorts. There is nothing. The roof control is here next to the centerpiece here, and then you've got your two windows up and down. There are only two windows in this car, even though it is a four-seater car. We'll check that out in a minute, because how they've managed that, I have no idea. As an available option on this car, you can have a separate screen over here for your passenger, and they can in turn choose the music and set up the, some of the systems, although they can't adjust, obviously, the actual running of the car itself. So if you do want to scare people, it's a great one to have over now. I call it the mother-in-law, anti-mother-in-law device, because as soon as they get in and they can see that, it's going to put them off driving around with you. Very simple controls here. We've got a launch down here, launch button. You've got the auto. If you want to disengage auto, you just hold it down for 3 seconds, and the reverse there when the camera comes straight up. And then here are just your moving your buttons around between the home screen. So you can go back to home screen and it will come up, and then you can just choose telephone. You've got media, everything. It's very, very, very good, and there's no lag with it at all. It's a supercar to drive, and it needs to be gotten out on the road. So before we do that, I'm going to jump in the back and just show you that it is possible to get 4 people in this car. Okay, let's see if we can get a reasonable sized adult in the back here. I'm just going to jump in. The seat goes, oh yeah, before even, it's electronic by the way, so it just moves forward for you. You've got ISOFIX points in the back there, which is amazing. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, that's for sure. If you oh my god, no, just wouldn't want to go far though. Driving the Portofino Well, it's just one hell of an experience. If you've never driven a Ferrari before, it's probably going to blow your mind. I've driven a few myself, I've been very lucky. But this one is no exception to the Ferrari rule. It ticks every box. It puts a smile on your face. And that is the whole point in spending 160 odd thousand pounds. You need a smile on your face at the end of the day. Ferrari claim that the Portofino is their new everyday car, the car that you will buy if you're going to pop down the shops, or you're going to go down to the cinema, or go out for a meal, or maybe a game of golf. It's the everyday Ferrari, and it really has taken over from the California T. And in a way I'm pleased, because this car is far more European, it's far more Ferrari. It's sort of going back to the roots of a Ferrari. The car has a couple of different modes, comfort and sport. And between the two, I'll be honest, I haven't really noticed a lot of difference. I've got it in sport at the moment, just slightly harder on the suspension and a little bit more responsive on the throttle. But where it does seem to come into its own is when you push that button, like I said, 3 seconds, and you're now into manual mode and you're on the paddles, and now you can start to let that engine build up, like, and then you can really hear that beautiful V8, and the exhaust is just stunning. It just sends tingles down the spine. It's such a lovely feeling to drive a Ferrari. As an entry-level car, and that's what Ferrari claim it is their lowest level car that you can buy in. It's a hell of a step up, a hell of a rung to get on when you buy your first Ferrari. And I wish I was in a position to go out and buy one of these myself, because I definitely would have one of these in my ultimate car collection. I love Ferraris, I'm a big Ferrari fan, but I'm also a big Alfa fan as well. You know that if you watch this on a regular basis. But there's just something about this Portofino that, I don't know, it's just, the little blips and that put your foot down and you feel that, pushes you back in the seat. It's just such a lovely car to drive. But I could drive it for miles and miles. It is a real true GT at the same time. And when the roof's down and you're out on a day like today, there isn't much better place in the world you can be. You've been watching me, AJ the Player, as you probably already know, and I've gone on enough about this lovely car. So hopefully next week you'll tune back in again. I love using that word, tuning in again, and we'll have another car to show you, because that's what we love doing now. Don't forget, like, subscribe and comment at your peril. I know I always say that, but it is a bit of a peril because you never know how I'm going to reply. Thanks for watching, guys. Safe motoring, and see you next week. Gotta love this car. Oh.